So, guys, number one, we're supposed to solve these by factoring. All right, we're getting started.
Wait.
By factoring?
Yes.
Was that by grouping terms?
No. Okay. So this one is not a quadratic formula, or not a quadratic equation. You guys remember what a quadratic equation was?
That's y.
As at x squared. It's not a quadratic equation, but it is in the quadratic form. In other words, a normal quadratic equation would look like this, right? And we could factor that. But instead of x in front, it's got an x to, or sorry, instead of x squared in the front, it's got x4. Instead of an x right here, it's got x squared. So it still follows the pattern. It could also be like x to the 6. This would also be quadratic form. You can still factor these, basically. If it follows the pattern, like this power is twice this power, and then there's no x's over here, it's gonna work. Okay, so what goes in the front? I'm gonna factor it normally, just like
X squared and x squared.
right. Instead of putting x and x in the front, we're gonna put x squared times x squared in the front. Because I multiply it to x to the 4th.
So are we not doing it how they wanted it?
So it adds up to 12.
No, we are.
And it has a 4.
Okay.
So maybe
So
2
maybe 26.
and 8. No, that would be more. Maybe negative 2 positive.
Oh, it has the
Negative 6 positive 2.
It has the quadratic form, but we're not gonna say that. We're just gonna solve it.
Negative 3.
It might be that he's emptied.
It worked.
Negative
no idea what
Ray's like, I'm not emptying it.
No.
Open it over trash can.
Oh yeah, that needed empty.
You can barely get it off.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's impressive.
That's a chunk right there.
Being a naughty boy.
No, Jess, that's her.
What page are you?
What?
82. Or 83.
I've used this one all year. 'Cause
Okay,
It's awesome.
so-
Favorite pencil.
Guys, for the second part, it's what goes into negative 12 that could add up to negative 4.
4 and 2? No.
What multiplies into negative 12
Negative 6 and 2.
that adds up to 4, yeah. So what goes into 12 is 3 and 4, or 6 and 2. One of them would have to be negative. Yeah, if you make the 6 negative, negative 6 plus 2. So this isn't really new, right? The only thing that's different is instead of x right here, we got x squared. Okay, this next part's different too, though. So what x values would make these factors into a 0?
Would it be 6?
Plus 6.
6x?
So hold on now,
Nope.
because it's not x minus 6.
X squared plus.
Okay, we want x squared minus 6 to equal 0, or we want x squared plus
It has to
2.
be square root of 6, doesn't it?
Okay, how would I solve this for x?
Well, you would
Plus 6.
add
Add the
6
6
over, and then
over.
you have to
Yes,
square
sir.
it.
Square root.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Plus or minus.
right. When you to get rid of the square, you square root it. And whenever you use that square root trick, you have to use plus or minus also. So plus or minus square root of 6, yucky, is one of the answers.
Plus or minus square root of 2.
No, not quite.
Wrong.
Oh, plus or
Wrong.
minus I
Wrong.
squared of 2.
Yeah, so you subtract 2 on this one, kind of the same thing. X squared equals negative 2. And when you take the square root,
I squared root 2.
I squared of 2.
Hey,
What did I do wrong on
Alright.
this?
Plus or minus.
Plus or minus?
But now you have to put that back in to see which one's actually the right one, right?
No, they all work. So
Stop giving us homework reading.
Sorry.
there's only certain kinds of problems where your answers might not work. And
Where's
this,
the fraction?
this is not one of them. It's when you square both sides that happens sometimes.
How do you do uneven?
How many answers do I have right here?
4.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Plus or minus
Oh.
counts for 2 and 2.
So, and we did
Oh.
solve the first bit, a polynomial equation that can solve by grouping terms, a polynomial equation that has a quadratic form.
Yeah, that was a quadratic form. We just did it.
Are you gonna make us
Okay.
do any of that, or do we just have to solve it?
Well, you kind of have to know it to solve it, so, but no. I'm gonna
Don't
let
tell
you
me.
know.
You guys know.
Okay, on number 3, this one, I don't know if we talked about this one last year, actually, probably not. But when it's got 4 terms like this, it's called grouping.
We can take something out, right?
Hold on.
No, we can't.
We can take something out, right? Like a 3.
We
Oh,
can
we might be
take-
able to do that.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
We can, because
No.
16 doesn't divide
Yeah.
by 3.
Yeah, Brady.
Okay,
But we can take out a 1.
so this is new for us. If there's 4 terms like this, you can factor by grouping. What I mean by grouping is just grouping, like looking at the first 2 and like looking at the last 2, just by themselves.
I had to do that in college.
Yeah, you had to do it. Okay, so on the first 2 terms, it's what can we take out of those 2?
X.
We can take 3.
X squared.
Oh,
No,
not
just
3,
X
sorry. I
squared.
don't know why I said
Yeah, the 3 doesn't go to 16, but I can take an x squared out of both those. And then what's left if I take an x squared out?
3x
3x
minus 16.
Minus 16. And then on the second part, we do the exact same thing.
Well,
Think of that minus as being with the 12, and like a negative 12. What can I take out of
You can take out.
12 and 64?
I think you can take out 12. Can you?
12 times 5 is 60, so no.
No.
You can take out a 6.
6.
You can
Okay.
take out a 4.
You can take out a 4. So
No.
one reason I know that you can take out a 4 is what the leftover should be the same as this. And if you take a 4 out of both of these, you'll get 12 divided by 4 is 3. Anyway,
Wait, so we're taking stuff out of the first one and then the second one?
yes, separately.
Oh, okay.
Okay, on the second one, I'm not just going to take out a 4, I'm actually going to take out a negative 4. If this first term is negative, you're going to want to take out a negative like that. So what is negative 12x divided by negative 4?
3x plus 6.
What's 64 divided by negative 4?
3x minus.
Should be the same as this, minus 16. Okay, if both parentheses are the same, you did it right. Okay, this is not the answer, by the way. The answer is...
So why can't you just
is it just the X?
figure out what the first one is and then just make that the second one if they're always going to be the same?
Huh? Well, just to make sure you did it right. Like you took the right number out and everything.
Wait.
Okay, so what I did is the stuff in front of the parentheses up here, I put in the first set of parentheses. And the stuff in the parentheses, I put in the second set of parentheses.
What?
Okay, why it
Shouldn't
worked?
that be
Wait, say that
3x
again?
squared?
So I put x squared and minus 4 right here.
Uh,
And I put 3x minus 16 in here.
shouldn't that be squared because there's 2?
No. I'll try to explain why it works here in a second.
I think it's gonna take more than a second for you to explain it to me.
So if we were multiplying this out, like if I FOILed this back together, it would basically be x squared times both of these and negative 4 times both of these, which is what this is saying. This is why it works. You don't really have to understand why it works, but it might help you remember. I don't know, maybe not.
I understand.
This one's kind of weird because usually this doesn't happen,
Did
but
it cancel out? Is that basically?
no. So if I was to FOIL this back together, it would be x squared times both of these. That would be like my first and my outside, or my first and my last. No, my first and my outside. And then if I did negative 4 times both of these, that's like my inside and last. anyway, that's the same as this.
So the first part is the faux and the last part is the O.
Yeah, this is like
Whoa.
Yeah. FOIL. Anyway, the outside stuff goes in one parentheses and the inside stuff goes in the other, but you only do it once.
Gotcha.
Okay, this one's a little bit weird because one of these parentheses can factor again.
Is that a square minus a square?
Is that a square minus a square? Yes, it is.
Whoa.
So what are the roots of these?
X minus 2.
X and 2. So you do x minus 2, x plus 2, and 3x minus 16. Fun and sun.
Yeah.
We had joy, we had cold,
Uh,
we had seasons.
To be honest with you guys, I don't think they put grouping on the ACT, but like Nevaeh said, it probably will be in college algebra.
No.
So, there you
Please
Can't
say
make
no
me do
letters.
We're doing 1 through 10 today. Okay, number 5. Does number 5 look more like number 1 or number 3?
Yes.
Number 1.
Looks like number 1. So,
Number
I'm going to reorder number 5. Guess how I'm going to write it?
In order,
2x to the 4th, what?
plus 7x.
Right, I'm going to move it to the left. Plus 7x squared minus 15 equals 0. So I just moved everything to the left side. So it's nice and orderly. Kate is tempting.
Wait, this is 5?
Don't leave Frodo. Yeah. You guys know that quote?
Yes, I
What
know.
quote? There's a quote?
Well, obviously it's Lord of the Rings, but what when?
It's Gandalf when Frodo offers him the ring because Frodo doesn't want the responsibility of having it, and Gandalf knows if he takes it, he'll try to
Okay,
use it for
I
good.
didn't want your life story.
It's actually in the first chapter.
Wait, this is. Am I on the wrong page?
It's 83.
Oh, I need to see trouble.
I'm
Is it
on the wrong page.
Is it starting to make more sense now, Drew?
No.
I have a question.
That would make more
The
sense on the
second
wrong
side,
page.
Yeah.
You can't take anything out, you just put it in the parentheses, but it has a negative in front of it. Do you take the negative out?
Like, are you talking about the last problem?
Number 6.
So, yeah, when there was a
Yeah,
minus
basically,
right there, we took a negative 4 out. So it just
Okay, but like, we didn't take anything out, like on number 6, you don't take anything out, because it's like 2x plus
I'm
1,
too
but
tired
it's
for this.
minus. So you put the
So I would
minus.
take a negative, if you don't take anything out, take a negative 1.
Okay, so you just put the negative outside of the parentheses.
Like, if there's nothing to take out, take the negative out, but also put a 1 right there.
Put a 1.
Because you gotta,
Distribute it.
you need something. Alright, so what goes, guys, what's gonna go in the front on this one?
2x squared.
And 2x
Squared times what?
x squared.
Times x squared. Those multiply together to get the first term.
Yeah,
That's
so
how we
it's
do that.
2x squared
Okay.
minus 3.
And then what goes into 15,
Three
negative
and
15? 3 and 5, one of them would have to be negative.
So you can do then 2x squared minus 3, so you x
Yeah.
squared.
If I put the 5 out here,
If I were Richmond.
that gives me 10, right, on the outside. And then if I put the negative 3 right there, that gives me minus 3. So if I put the 5 right there, that's 10x squared, and the minus 3 there. So if I FOIL it, 10x squared minus 3x squared is 7x squared. So that's the right one.
I got it right all by myself.
Okay, unfortunately, that doesn't really tell us the answer quite yet, right? I want 2x squared minus 3 to equal 0, or I want x squared plus 5 to equal 0. How do I make this happen?
You have to add the 3 over.
Plus
the-
3,
Then you have to divide by 2.
divide by 2, so x squared equals 3 divided by 2.
What? That's
So then you have
crazy.
to square root.
Square root.
So x equals plus or minus square root of 3 over 2.
Okay. On the, you can't leave square 2 on the bottom, so you might want to use your calculators on this if you have a good one. But if you multiply the bottom and top by square root of 2, that will fix the problem.
Oh, the top equals square
So
root
it's square root
of
of 6
over
over
2.
normal 2. supposed to leave a square root in the denominator. Some of your calculators do that, right? And then on this one, that's a little bit easier. Subtract the 5. X squared equals negative 5.
And then you have the square root, so x equals plus or minus I squared 5.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Right?
Sure, Josh.
I can always eat one on here.
That's nice.
We'll get there.
Okay, how many terms does number 7 have?
1, 2, 3,
4.
4. So what kind of problem is it going to be?
Grouping.
Grouping. You guys remember, and I'm going to bring over the 12, so I'm going to put mine as 12.
Group me like that.
Okay, do you remember what I did to start on the last problem?
Okay, can I tell you?
Yeah.
Alright, so you did the x3 plus 2x squared
Hey, what are you doing over here?
equals negative 6x.
No.
You do X
Okay.
squared plus
See what you can take out of
the
it.
rest of
Right. What can we take out of the first two terms? What goes to
X
both these?
squared.
X squared. What's left if I take an x squared out?
X plus 2.
Plus 2. And then for the second two terms, or the last two terms, I should say, we're going to do the same thing. What can I take out of negative 6x and minus negative 6? What's left if I divide negative 6 out? X.
Plus 2.
Minus.
Taking out negative
Plus
2. And you can kind of cheat. I mean, these should be the same every time.
That's what I was saying.
Now, really, this only works in a very specific case. It only works if it comes out, if it comes out perfectly.
Do
But
you want any of them not come out perfectly?
okay, do you guys remember what I did after that?
Then you put so it'd be x squared minus 6, because the other one's the same, so x squared minus 6, and then it's x plus 2, but then the one on the left is a square minus a square, right?
No, that was just on the first example.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you know what?
Because they're the same.
Guys, I just realized we didn't finish that problem, did we?
Which one?
Number 3.
Number 3.
Yeah, we did.
No, we didn't. We're not just factoring, we're solving an equation. This is easy though. X equals what?
Plus or minus,
Plus or minus 2.
16
Okay.
over 3.
Right, positive 16 over 3.
If I were rich,
Ring that in.
I wouldn't have.
Josh, are you going out for the play this year?
No.
Yes,
Please,
sir.
Josh.
I'm not.
Please.
Rachel's already decided for you.
She
Yeah,
does?
Josh, I said it.
I can only choose one. It's either worship band or musical.
That is so not a thing at all.
That is definitely a
That is
thing.
so not a thing.
Seniors can only choose one.
His mom told him that.
Yeah, my mom actually told me that.
Okay,
Guess your mom.
now what do I do?
It's in the student handbook.
Okay, Josh.
X plus 6, x minus 6.
So, what's the answer for this one?
That's
Minus
equal
2.
plus
Negative
or
2.
minus.
Now, this is not a square minus a square. Why not?
Because negative 6 is not a square.
6 does not have a square root. So we have to use the same trick we've been using. X squared minus 6 equals 0. Add the 6 over. It was just a square minus a square by coincidence on
Oh,
number 3.
okay.
It's not usually.
I hope it is usually.
So 6 and
So
wait, is it 6 and negative 2 or just 6? Or
Well,
does that make sense?
neither. X equals plus or minus square root of 6 and negative 2.
Negative 2.
Got one more. Number 9. Okay, on number 9, what kind of problem is that going to be?
Oh, hold up.
Let me check.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's a group me.
Grouping, because
It's
there's
a
4
group.
terms. So what am I going to do first?
Move this stuff over.
Move it over to the left side and put it in order. So I got 10x cubed on the left already. And I'm gonna bring over minus 6x squared. I got plus 5x on the left already, and then I'm gonna bring over a minus 3.
So you just put it all on the side? Oh wait, never mind, that's not.
Yeah, I just moved it all to the left.
Yeah, but like in a different order.
I put it in order, yeah, from the highest power to the lowest. Okay, what do we do first?
Hey.
Take out
Let's
X
do X
and
squared.
negative 2.
2, just a positive 2.
Oh, why not negative?
Well, technically you could, but it'll make the problem messier. If this term is positive, you probably won't take out positive.
Well, okay.
Okay, what's left if I take that out?
5x minus 3. And then the other one you can't even take anything out.
So I'm just dividing
5x
both
is
terms by
minus
2x squared.
3. Yep.
That gives me 5x and minus 3. And I can't take anything out of the other one, so what, of the other side. So what am I going to take out?
Plus 1.
Right. We kind of need a number there
Oh.
for like a placeholder.
So, yeah,
So I'm just going to put
makes sense. It actually does. make
Sorry,
sense.
Brady, I got kind of stole your thunder, didn't I?
You did.
Got in your way. So if you don't take anything out, just put a 1 right there. Okay. And then, oh, you guys are supposed to tell me what goes down.
Now you put 2x squared plus 1.
And then 5x minus 3.
Is there a calculator that can do this?
No.
Ah.
Well, if there was one, you wouldn't be allowed to use it
Ah.
on the
Wait, really?
ACT.
Hold on.
What?
They let me use my calculator.
If there was a calculator that could do this.
I can solve it.
I just use.
Technically, we could solve, no, we didn't.
I mean, you can plug stuff in, but you gotta know what to plug in.
Is there
You
any
can't
other
just,
way
you
to
can't just plug this in and hit equals. It's not gonna do anything.
You know what I'm gonna
Yes.
do?
Is there any other way
No.
to solve it? Like,
Joshua?
Well, calculator, that's the other
Makes
way.
me groovy.
Yeah, solve
I'm
it.
gonna name my computer
Um,
calculator and then just.
yeah, that's the only reasonable ways, yeah. Okay, so we're not quite done yet. Remember, we're trying to get 2x squared plus 1 to equal 0, or 5x minus 3 to equal 0. I'm not gonna write that one down. What's this one gonna be?
We have to add or subtract
Verify.
1 over.
Right, positive 3
Not the-
over 5.
Yeah.
And then, okay, yeah, minus 1.
Subtract 1, so it's 2x squared equals negative 1. Then you divide by 2.
My high.
So it's x squared equals negative 1 over 2. Then you have to square root it.
Okay, so, yeah, this would be nice.
I got a math error. I don't know.
Your calculator probably doesn't like negatives.
And put mine in a decimal.
So we're not supposed to leave square roots on the denominator, so I'm going to multiply by square root of 2. So that turns it into square root of 2 over 2. That's in the square root also.
Okay.
So it's, your calculator didn't like it because it doesn't like the negatives.
Yeah.
My calculator made it a decimal. Like it won't change it back.
So why was it the 3
What happened? Oh yeah, 3/5. I forgot about it. That's what happened.
This hurts me.
You hurt me, Brady.
Alright,
That's
how?
okay. I love
Do
you.
you do this?
Yes,
I'm not gonna try it. The video is like 45 minutes long.
I know, I saw it, I was very serious.
So half of it was us not making any sense.
So I'm gonna spend an hour tonight.
Well, I did a lot of repeating myself in an attempt. So if you get it quickly, you can fast forward through parts.
Yeah.
Really?
I hope so.
I don't wanna
We're going to
do it.
plan.
Brady, shut up. I love you.
What?
Number 2 is the square minus the square.
Is it?
Yeah.
Plus or minus two.
You guys think I would break right now?
Maybe it's six. Oh, so you do the opposite thing? I got X plus. I got
You mean your square?
Whoa.
Pretty easy.
Isn't that a square?
Yeah, so you do the opposite. I forgot,
Yeah, I got that.
What would you do if I just had a massive tooth like that?
Okay,
You have a
this
massive
is
shooter, bro.
balloon.
No,
I had a student
Baloney.
that had a stomach issue, and he had gas a lot.
That's nice.
I just told him if he ever needs to, just step outside of the classroom.
How many
Was that when
times
you
have
were in the middle school?
Yeah.
So then you just sent me to another person's classroom.
And the weird thing is, he would step outside and then go like this.
But he went into somebody else's classroom.
Was this recent?
Well, that room was empty at the time, but
Was it recent?
no, he was older than you guys. Probably, like graduated last year or something.
Clayton. The quick guys over Clayton.
It was Daniel,
And with you?
yeah, Tennessee. You guys remember him?
Yeah.
No.
He was a character.
He was
He works
I
at
saw Tyler at Quick Trip. He's,
Which one?
no,
Salvatore or something?
Salvatore, yeah. He was in that class.
Oh wait, I got different answers.
That means
Come on, man. Oh wait, I got the right answer. I just did it wrong.
So is this four
Boom.
minus a square? And honestly, if you did it this way, it works that way too, because it's only one.
I have to write a 3-page paper
I
today.
just separated.
You would?
For history.
That's a lot for one day. How long have you been putting it off?
About a week. I know, but I'm getting into it today.
I'm gonna start my
Okay, I'm gonna break it up. Half page, like 1.5 pages today, and 1.5 pages.
Hey Brady, you can do cocaine, you can do that too.
That's more weird.
But then what if you're like, oh, I'm on the roll?
Then I,
Just do it all the way.
yeah. I trust me.
You're not gonna be on
I won't be on the roll.
Do you know how I do these papers? I go online and I look up all the oversimplified
What do you
videos.
pretend?
Alright, I watch like 10 of them about one guy.
I'm out of luck.
Alright,
So
they're
that's
all
all.
online.
I got plus
And I
one.
find random
I got plus one.
sources.
Because you have to square
I don't think
before.
that's what we do.
Nope, I forgot to hit
Oh, wait.